Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Finally, ChargePoint is announcing the EV industry's first cut-resistant charging cable, as well as an alarm system. That's as it attempts to deter theft and vandalism. It expects the cables to be available for license by the middle of this year. And joining us now to talk more about that is ChargePoint's CEO, Rick Wilmer. Rick, great to get you on the program. I want to ask how big of a problem this was in the first place. I mean, I know a lot of people are disappointed when they pull up to an EV charger and it doesn't work. Is that happening a lot more often, and is it due to vandalism?
Yeah, it definitely has been a problem that has been pervasive and getting worse. I think the rumor out there is that as copper prices go up, thieves believe they can make money stealing charging cables and taking them to recycling centers. And we've seen hundreds and hundreds of chargers get vandalized, and I bet industry-wide it's in the thousands. Seems to be concentrated in different areas. It surges in certain parts of the country and then builds up again in another part of the country. We've also seen it with some of our customers in Europe where they've got charging cables attached to chargers. So it's been a real problem. It's been very frustrating.
You know, one reason the vandalism exists also is to get access to that copper that's underneath the surface there. And I want to pull up actually the price of copper because interestingly enough, it has been back on the rise after a fairly steep decline at the end of last year. I'm wondering what this means for you in terms of pricing, in terms of what your inputs are costing right now.
Yeah, good question. But quite frankly, the cost of copper as part of the overall cost of a charging station is not all that significant. And I think a lot of the thieves aren't that intelligent and, you know, hear a rumor or see something that makes them think they can make money. And it turns out there's just not that much value there.
I want to talk a little bit more about reliability. Of course, if your chargers are being vandalized, that would be a point of reliability becoming an issue. But let's also talk about software. Like Matt mentioned, making sure that these chargers work every single time for all types of EVs. How much time do you spend on the software, making sure that that actually is the case?
That is our single biggest area of investment and innovation. Like many other industries, software is going to eat the world in EV charging. So we spend a lot of time not only making charging reliable through software, making it easy to find, use, and pay for charging, but also to develop all kinds of interesting new features that our customers can take advantage of to not only drive utilization of charging at their institutions, but also to drive their core business.
Rick, I wonder about EV growth. There had been clearly a big backlash, and with Donald Trump coming into office, you may think, well, he's going to, remove the credit and slow EV sales even further. On the other hand, Elon Musk has purchased himself a place at the table here. Do you expect EV growth to pick up again, or is it going to continue to slow in 2025?
No, I don't think it's going to slow at all. In fact, Bloomberg New Energy just forecasted earlier this week 28% growth for EVs in North America this year and 33% in Europe. And I think what's really driving that, and it overcomes, government incentives or lack of, is really market forces. And I think what's held EVs back in the past on one side of the equation is just a lack of selection of vehicles. So we're going to see dozens of new EV models introduced this year, different types of vehicles, lower price points, and I think that's really going to help adoption. And then on the charging side, we continue to grow our networks. We continue to deploy more chargers, and innovations like we announced today around making chargers more reliable by preventing vandalism is going to help the other side of the equation, where drivers are concerned about finding a charger and when they do find one, making sure that it works.
Is it possible, it's possible to charge Tesla at a ChargePoint station, but do you have a significant number of Tesla owners charging at your stations?
Yes, a lot. If you walk into our parking lot, there's probably more Teslas out here charging than there are any other make of vehicle just because they're so prevalent on the road.
What do you think this means for Tesla? A lot of people are talking about Elon Musk's closeness to the president-elect at the moment. Do you think that that's going to give him an advantage relative to other EV companies out there, especially because they're already very much in the lead when you think about the standalone EV companies?
It's so hard to know. I really believe that what drives EV sales is the superiority of an electric vehicle versus an internal combustion vehicle. And again, like I mentioned earlier, as more models become available that meet the needs of different types of drivers that require different kinds of vehicles and at a variety of price points, the market's going to grow. I think they're just a superior product to the internal combustion vehicle.
Rick, as you know, I have a podcast called Hot Pursuit with Hannah Elliott, where we talk basically about our love for cars. And there's some exciting EVs coming out. I think Hannah's going to drive a Porsche Macan EV next week. What are you most excited about in terms of product offering in 2025?
Wow, there's so much coming. I think the Macan is an exciting vehicle. I'm excited to see some of the Stellantis vehicles come out. There's just a lot coming that I'm excited about. By the way, Matt, big fan of the podcast. I listen to that pretty regularly.
Well, I really appreciate it, Rick. Thanks so much for joining us on Bloomberg Television as well. ChargePoint CEO Rick Wilmer. For more on all things auto, go ahead and check out my podcast with Hannah Elliott. It is called Hot Pursuit, and you can get it on Bloomberg.com or anywhere you get your podcast.
I will be listening to the Macan episode.
Yeah.
That's the car I want.